What's up, minions? Lex DeVille here. Today we are going to be looking at Upwork's best matches from the client side of the proposals and trying to figure out if we can answer the question, how does Upwork determine who is a best match? We want to determine that to give you the best possible chance of getting your proposal up to the top of those Upwork response results, whatever the review results. I always forget what they're called. We want to help you get up to the top of those so that you have the best chance to get seen by clients as quickly as possible. So if that's something you're interested in, Upwork Best Match, and maybe figuring out how it works, then stick around. Hey minions, if you're new to the channel and you like what I have to say, then be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss a video. Only do this if you like what I have to say and if you want to hear more about freelancing, entrepreneurship, and personal world domination. For those who don't know me, I'm Lex DeVille, and on this channel we help you escape corporate prison and build a freelance empire. We share lots of freelance tips, tutorials, advice, Upwork advice, things like that. So if you're new, consider subscribing. Actually, it'd be down there. I think one of these two places in one of those two corners there's a subscribe button, and you can click it and it will subscribe you to our channel. Today we're looking at Upwork's best match system. So as a client, whenever I post a job, and if you're not in our Discord, you should be in our Discord because we answer a lot of freelance stuff in there. Make sure that you pop into our Discord. The link will be in the description as well as the top comment on this video. As a client, whenever I post a job, people start to send proposals, and I start to get proposals in, and what happens is once I get a certain number of proposals, Upwork says, these people here are a best match. They're the best match for your job. And I don't know if it changes with the more proposals come in. I did post a job recently though, and I'll try to show some results from that so you can kind of see some of the stuff that I'm talking about. I was trying to do screen capture earlier. I had problems with my screen capture system. I tried to do it, just a video where I was popping back and forth, had problems with that. So now I'm just gonna record the video as is, and we will go from there. Whenever I posted this job, I got a flood of proposals. I think I got 29, 30, somewhere between those two numbers, 29 and 30, that applied. And I had probably almost an entire page of people who were suggested to be the best match. So they all got the little best match badge, and those people were at the top. But because there were so many best matches, they filled up the whole page, and then there was a load more button at the bottom that I had to click to go down and see everybody who was not a best match. So the first things I want to say about this whole best match system is that the idea here is to get to the top of the best match system so that you have the best chance of getting seen, which also gives you more time spent with the client. Because the way that I look at jobs and the way that I sort through freelancers is, as a client, I will go through every single person who applies because I want to find the absolute best person for the job. But there's a caveat to that. So the caveat is that if I'm looking at all of these jobs on one day, not over a period of days, and usually I look at them as they come in, but if I'm looking at them all at once, then I am only going to want to spend a certain amount of time looking through these proposals. So I'm going to give the most time to the people who are at the top of the list. I'm going to go through the list one at a time because I don't have any way quickly to sort through these people and say, this guy might be a fit, this guy might be a fit, that guy might be a fit, this girl might be a fit. There's not really a whole lot of information for me to go on until I click and open the proposal. So what I do, since I don't know that information, is I just go 1, 2, 3, 4. I go line by line. I look at each freelancer and I make a decision after that. So how are some people getting to the top of the results? Well, a couple things that I noticed from my latest job post is that, first of all, the people who are at the top, or at least the people who are at the top of mine, had certain qualities about them. They had the following. They had, one, a good fair price, a reasonable price. Now I said that I was looking for an expert freelancer, so the top one for mine didn't really make sense. She had a $12 an hour price, but it was a good price because she's earned $50,000 on the platform. So that's number two. The next thing is that her earnings were really up above everybody else. The number three thing was that her job success score was 100%, and she had 4 top rated status. I don't know that any of the other people had top rated status. There might have been a few. I can't remember now. I'll have to look at it when I go back and look at the actual situation so I can pop that up on the screen and show you. But those seem to be the qualifying factors for her. Other factors that played a role were that she had relevant samples. Now, I don't know how they knew this. I can't remember now if her samples had anything indicating that they were relevant, but they were super highly relevant when I looked at them. Something I saw as I was looking through these best matches is that the very next person had a low job success score. So he had earned 9,000, so that was less than the 50,000. He had a rate of, I believe, $10 an hour. So the rate was fair. He had earned 9,000. He's earned money for Upwork. It makes sense, by the way, that Upwork would promote people who have made money for them in the past, especially if you've made quite a bit of money. If you've made $50,000, that means you've made quite a bit of money for Upwork as well. And 9,000, that's a fair amount too. But he only had a 76% job success score and no top rating. So he couldn't be at the very top because he's definitely not better than that top person. So for those reasons, he made it up there, but he wasn't the best. Now, here's what was weird. He had a lower job success score than some of the other freelancers on the list, including one other freelancer who had earned even more than him. Now, what's weird about this is, why did he get pushed up to the very top almost? I think the answer is because he had the word YouTube in his title, in his profile title. And it was a very targeted word, and the other guy did not have that. So I think that is a fourth or fifth, I think we're on the fifth, a fifth factor that can play into this. And I think also that if you really want to make it to the top of these search results, there are some other things that you can probably do that have to do with other videos that I've created in the past. Sorry, my nose itch. Someone's thinking about me naked. What in the past I've talked about is your entire profile, your portfolio, all the things that lead toward good SEO outcomes. The things that should lead you to be at the top of search results, I think, are also the things that are going to put you at the top of the best match. But they're only going to put you at the top of the best match if they're a match for what the client needs. So in this case, I was looking for a YouTube thumbnail designer, somebody who could create a YouTube thumbnail template for me. And the people who put YouTube in their title, some of those people got pushed up in the best match, but not all of them, because most of them hadn't earned anything. Most of them didn't have a job success score or top rated status. They still made it into the best matches whenever they fit some of the requirements, but they didn't make it all the way up to the top. And the person who had earned 80 something thousand, which is weird, he had the most money earned, but he didn't have it in his title. He wasn't top rated. He only had like a 86% job success score. So I think some of those factors compounded. So maybe Upwork rates what's in your title a little bit more highly over some of the other things, such as how much you've earned. It's not totally sure, but I think it is a combination of factors. Still, if you wanted to get the best possible chance to boost yourself up in these results, I think that a couple things that you're going to have to do are, one, set a reasonable rate. And your rate, depending on what kind of jobs you do, the rate that you apply with is going to change. It is going to be higher for some jobs and lower for others. And the guy who had $80,000 earned through Upwork, his rate was $50 an hour. So I think that's part of why he didn't get pushed up above anybody. He wasn't top rated, and his rates were higher than the person who was at the top of my list, who had lower rates, who had $50,000 earned, and who did have top rated status and a 100% job success score. And I'm starting to think that that is weighing a little more heavily in your favor these days. What are you going to do to boost yourself up? Number one thing that you're going to do is you're going to niche down. You're going to pick a niche and you're going to stick with it. And your niche is not going to be graphic designer. Stop picking that freaking niche. Stop being graphic designers. Be a YouTube thumbnail designer, because that's exactly what I was looking for. And I'm not saying be a YouTube thumbnail designer specifically. I'm saying pick something specific and then find the clients who need that specific thing, and you're going to have a much easier time raising yourself up into the top of the search, or not the search results, the proposal results, so that you get up there and have a shot at getting best match. You also need to attend to your job success score and top rated status. So top rated status, that's a combination of factors that happen over a period of weeks, but you do have some control over your job success score if you're making sure that you're pulling in new clients regularly, if you are having a good mix of long-term and short-term gigs, and you are staying on top of doing good work for people and getting good feedback. As you get that job success score up and then you eventually get top rated status, that factor is going to boost you to the top of the results. So you do need to attend to it these days. You do need to build up your earnings. So you need to be somebody, maybe if you're trying to get your start, who is willing to have lower rates and who is willing to take some jobs where you're going to earn less money as a rite of passage. It is a rite of passage getting your foot in the door with Upwork. So that rite of passage is you building up some earnings. And once you get up to a couple $100s worth of earnings, that is going to help push you up in the search results. Because I'll try and show you on my screen that virtually all of the people who were not a best match, they all didn't have any of these things. Most of them had $0 to $10. That's all they had earned on the entire platform, meaning they had very little experience on Upwork as a platform. They had titles that didn't really match. They didn't put much in their proposals. There just wasn't anything there to go off of. They hadn't earned Upwork any money. There was no reason to believe that they could get the job done. There was nothing showing job success score or top rated because they either hadn't been on the platform long enough or they just hadn't had enough clients. So those are kind of the factors. These are things that you're up against. So over half of the people that you're up against when you're applying on Upwork are people who Upwork says you shouldn't even really look at. And for me as a client, I wouldn't have looked at any of them for the most part. I mean, I would quickly. I'd quickly go through them and see if there's like a diamond in the rough. But I'm not going to spend much time on those proposals because there's no reason to, because they haven't earned anything and I was looking for an expert. So you need to get up into the best matches. You need to be a best match. But to do that, you're going to have your portfolio filled in. You're going to have your profile fully filled out. You need to have good prices. You need to be making money on the platform. You need to be operating like a professional. You need to niche down and have a title that's specific to the job or whatever the client, whatever their industry is that they're doing. So even if someone said that they were a YouTube video editor, that would have been close enough to YouTube thumbnail designer probably to get you into the best matches, because I would click that because it says YouTube, and YouTube is a key word in that sentence. So be thinking about that. You need to set good rates. You need to build up at least a couple $100s worth of earnings to get up into the best match. You need to try to get 100% job success score and get top rated status eventually. And you need to I already said earn monies, but niche down, all the things. I think that's all of the things that I mentioned. Niche down, put it in your title, build out your portfolio, your profile. Everything should be stacked in your favor. If you are the kind of person who is putting in the minimum amount of effort, you don't deserve to be up in the best matches. You just don't deserve to be there, and that's why you're getting overlooked. So at this point, what's really interesting to me after having seen this from my latest job post is that I realize now you're really not competing against, in my case, this was 29 to 30 proposals that came in, but I wasn't somebody who applies to these would not be competing with 29 to 30 proposals. You're only competing with about maybe 10 who are at the top in the best matches, because Upwork promotes a bunch of them as best matches. So that's really who you're competing against. So if you can get yourself seen and show why you're the best of the best matches, then that's going to get you picked. And in this case, when I looked at these, I actually think that the best of the best matches is the first person that Upwork recommended. It is the person at the top. That is the person who I would want to pick. The person with good rates, a lot of money earned, 100% job success score, top rated status, and it would only be better if she had the word YouTube in her job title. But when I did click into her proposal and I looked at her samples, they were relevant. It made sense. They were good samples that fit my style. So that makes sense that that's a person that I might want to hire. Be thinking about this as you go forward. You're not competing against everybody who applies to an Upwork gig. You're competing against the people who are supposedly the best, but this best is only the best match based on Upwork's algorithmic criteria, and you can game those to some extent by having a niche down title, having a fully filled out profile with lots of portfolio examples, and just fill in everything. Fill in your education, fill in your credentials, your if you have any certificates, anything like that, your work history, all of the things. Put stuff in there so that Upwork can see that you took your time on this profile, and make all of those things targeted to the niche and the industry that the client is in, or even the exact skill that they need. And that is going to help you rise up in these best match results, hopefully even rise up above other people in the best match, because we want to secure potentially that the first 1 to 3 spots. Those 1 to 3 spots are going to get the most time, the most scrutiny, the most attention, and those are the most likely people who are the most likely to get a response. That doesn't mean they're going to get hired, but it means they're the most likely to get a response. So your goal with proposals is just to get a response. That's step one. You have to get a response so that you can talk to the client more, find out if you're a match, and then you can try to sell them your services at your prices. that about wraps it up for this video. If you guys have any questions or any thoughts on this, drop them in a comment down below. I think we're going to do some either job post breakdowns or maybe proposal writing in an upcoming video this week sometime. Be on the lookout for that. I know you guys always like the proposal stuff, so we'll be diving into that a little bit more. I'm Lex DeBill. Thank you so much for watching. I'm totally exhausted because I tried to record this video a bunch of times and it didn't work out for me, but here we are and here it is. Hopefully it works out this time. See you next time.